Hey, what's up guys, Anime here again, and I bring you yet another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. This one is just epic against my good old friend Mr. Boss. What makes this pretty particular is this was not at all set up. I went into the Cerebi chat room looking for an NU battle, and he popped up out of nowhere and asked me, hey, let's battle. And I was like, ah, sure, why not? So I backed out, I switched up some pokes, left most of my NUs in, and decided to battle. So he leads off with his Ninjask, and I lead off with my Tentacruel. I quickly switch out into my Inferior, expecting like an X-Scissor. And what's pretty ironic is I know exactly what this Ninjask can do. I actually traded him the Ninjask earlier throughout the day. So I know its moveset, I know, what it has, what it can do, and I went for an Outrage here, which is a stupid play on my part. I know it has a Focus Sash. I don't know why I went for the Outrage. I can't really tell you. But, yeah, I'm pretty much forced to go Outrage next turn, being that the Rage is on. And he goes for the Protect. Good play by his part. I get confused due to fatigue. I have to switch out here. I go into my Mr. Mime, predicting the Baton Pass, sorry. He goes into his Nidoqueen, and the Toxic Spikes disappear. Once again, good play by his part. I thought I would outspeed being I'm Jolly and had max speed, but I completely forgot about the speed boost. This battle was pretty late at night, so I wasn't thinking 100%. I went into my Inferior knowing that I can take a Body Slam or whatever else he wanted to throw at me, even a Brick Break. And although it does a bunch load, I do take the Brick Break. Here I get a misclick and go for the Mega Horn instead of the Earthquake, which really bugs me even to this day. The Earthquake I know would have KO'd, but what are you gonna do? It happens. He does kill me off with the second Brick Break, and I switch out into my Blubber. And this really is my only hope for taking out the Nidoqueen, or I know it will sweep my whole team. He goes for the Body Slam, he gets the Parahacks, and I go for the EQ. I don't make the same mistake twice, and luckily I hit, so the Nidoqueen will go down after that Earthquake. So after the lefties, he switches back out into his Ninjask. I want to take this thing out as soon as possible, so I go straight for the Body Slam. And I know I can take an X-Scissor, so I just stay in, yeah? So he gets a Speed Boost. I know I still can take an X-Scissor, so I stay in, and I go for another Body Slam. I take the X-Scissor as I expected, but of course I get a pair of hacks on this turn, and it's the turn of my Body Slam, so it was just unfortunate, but whatever. He does kill me off with the X-Scissor. That cost me my Quagsire. So, it's two pokes in a row that I couldn't have lost, but I did. I go into my Shaman here, a really stupid play on my part, being that I know that X-Scissor is super effective. I don't know what my thought process was, but I went into my Shaman, it was super effective. Luckily I survive, and I get the Air Slash off. So yeah, stupid play, but what are you going to do? I get some lefties, he goes into his Charizard. I predicted a fire attack, so I go into my Jaws, both to get the Intimidate, and to get the Thunder Punch next turn. And the first Heat Wave misses, the second Heat Wave hits. I know I can take a Heat Wave from a Charizard, even if it is Spexed. But, of course, he gets a crit. I mean, are you kidding me? A crit. At a time like this. I mean, this was crucial. At this point, I had two Pokemon left, my Shaman and my Tentacruel. I pretty much said game over. I told him good game. I was celebrating. Well, not really celebrating, but, I was telling him congrats way too early. But he tells me to continue, so I do. I go for the Confuse Ray. That forces him to switch out. I predict him to switch, so I go for the Toxic Spikes. So he goes on to his Electivire. I know he's going to go for a Thunderbolt. And I go into my Shaman just to take the Thunderbolt. I do take it, and I take it extremely well. And here I go for the Seed Flare. I didn't think he'd switch out because, there's nothing I can really do. But the Seed Flare does take way more than I expected, a lot more than half. So he sets up the Light Screen. I know most of you guys are thinking, why would you set up Light Screen at a time like this? But trust me, guys, it really does pay off. So he withdraws. He goes into his Charizard. And I Psychic here. I go for the safe Psychic just in case he didn't switch. And if he did switch, it wouldn't be not very effective to Charizard. So because of Light Screen, Psychic does almost nothing. He goes for the Air Slash. And I switch out into my Tentacruel because I don't want to take it with my Shaman. And he just continues to spam Air Slashes. And at this point, oh yeah, he gets a crit. But not only does he get the crit, he gets the flinch. And I really did think it was a good game here. Because this is the only hope I had. And I go to my last resort. I just spam Confused Rays. It really was the last thing I can do. So he withdraws here. I don't predict the withdrawal, but either way, I was going to go for the Sludge Bomb, and the Sludge Bomb does pay off here. I go for the Sludge Bomb, and it will be enough to take out the Electivire. And even if I didn't take it out, the Toxic would have. So I get the leftovers, and he switches out into a Swampert. The Swampert is right away poisoned, which is good for me. Sorry about that. I go for Confuse Ray, and I'm just hoping this Swampert hits itself. I'm not sure what Swampert could have done. Maybe an Ice Beam, I'm not sure, but yeah. Luckily, it's hitting himself for Confusion, and hopefully it stays that way. I switch out into my Shaman, and I know he's going to predict that I would use a Seed Flare, but I predicted that he'd predict that, if that makes sense. So instead of going for the Seed Flare, I go for the Leech Seed, which really does help me in this battle. I think if I win the win for the Leech Seed, I probably would have lost. So yeah, I Leech Seed the Charizard. I get some health back and leftovers, so it's pretty much double the HP. I go into my Squidward, and just to take the Air Slash or the Fire Blitz, Flare Blitz, or Flamethrower, whatever he wanted to do, I get, he takes me down to red, but I get the Leech Seed and the leftovers recovery, so I'm pretty much good. He goes out into his Swampert, which is good play by his part. You know, pretty much predicting the Sludge Bomb. It's not very effective. He takes damage from poison. At this point, I wanna just keep confusing the Swampert. You know, I don't want to get hit anytime soon. So yeah, I confuse it. I'm hoping it hits himself, and it does. So I gain some leftovers, and it hits himself, and the poison will be enough to take it out. So the Swampert goes down, and at this point, I'm at the edge of my seat. I'm wondering what the last Pokemon is that I haven't seen, and it's a Rhyperior. And I'm like, oh crud, a Rhyperior. If I just keep spamming Confuse Ray, which is my last resort, like I said. I get some lefties. Luckily, he hits himself. He gets poison damage. I switch out here into my Shaman. I predicted an Earthquake or something like that, something like rock related. He snaps out of Confusion, which I'm glad I switched out, being that he snapped out of Confusion. My Shaman takes it well for a Stone Edge. He probably predicted a Seed Flare here, and I did go for the Seed Flare. Played pretty predictable, but whatever. I went for the Seed Flare, and it wasn't a bad move, to be honest, because I get the Special Defense drop, which I think makes a difference. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it made a difference. You'll see why. He goes for the Flare Blitz, and I pretty much know the Charizard specs, being how much the Flare Blitz did. He takes recoil damage. I get lefties. He goes for another Flare Blitz. So he takes more recoil damage. And I know the Sludge Bomb wouldn't have killed him from the start, but being that he got double recoil and the Special Defense drop, it does KO. And correct me if I'm wrong, like I said, but the Special Defense drop made a difference. Without the Special Defense drop, I'm not sure if I would have KO'd that Charizard, but thankfully I got it, and it did. I continue to confuse this Rhyperior, and I switch out here, just being cautious once again. I don't want my Tentacruel to KO to die this early, so I switch out into my Shaman. He's confused, and he gets the EQ off, so I'm glad I switched out, sorry. My Shaman takes it pretty well, and I survive with 62 HP, and he gets the poison damage, and I know at this point that a Psychic will take it out. I don't go for Seed Flare because I don't want to risk missing. So yeah, great game, Mr. Boss. I really enjoy battling with you. You know, this was extremely epic battle. Comment, rate, subscribe. This is Anime, and I'm out.